Hail to the Redskins. What's going on, Internet? This is JD coming at you with another Redskin Rant video. This is the video about the Seattle Seahawks game. Before I get into the game, I'm going to go over some things that have been sent towards me and I've seen in other pages. So I'm going to address what this page is about. Okay? This page is an objective opinion about the Washington Redskins. Certain things will be graded harsher because of the nature of what the position is. Okay? For example, there's apparently a narrative around here that I hate Kirk Cousins, and I'm negative about Kirk Cousins. No, I'm actually quite positive about Kirk Cousins. I want more from him. I demand more from him because I think he's a good quarterback. I got off work at 1 today. If you don't notice, this is a different venue because I'm in a hotel room because right now I'm in a new job and I'm looking for a new place, looking for a new house. So as of right now, I'm just staying here, working, and I'm also looking for a place to live. So today, I got off work at 1. Didn't anticipate getting off work at 1. I thought I was going to get off work at 7:30. So I had a lot of time on my hands, so I did a little bit of research. I didn't find any history of quarterbacks in Washington getting all the excuses Kirk Cousins has. This is where my distaste for Kirk Cousins is. And it's not his fault. He doesn't exactly come out and make excuses. It's all of his fans do. It's always the offensive line. It's a wide receiver. All these things. Okay? And all these excuses. And no one else has had these excuses. No one else has had the talent around him that he has. And no one will, no Kirk fan will admit it. Kirk fans are really the best fans, I tell you. I want some Kirk fans. I really do. Because if you lose a game, they will only highlight where you did well, and everything else that went wrong, they'll blame that. Okay? They'll discredit that. They'll discredit what went wrong and say that's someone else's fault. But when you did well, they'll comment on what you did well only. Okay? It's a really nice double-edged sword. I'll give you an example. I listened to another page, and I'm not going to mention it because he's disrespectful to me, so I'm not going to even mention his name, give him a shout-out. And he'll comment. He had a nerve to go off and brag yesterday that he called how great Kirk Cousins was. This is my issue with Kirk fans. Don't comment and say, "Oh, look at my boy at the end of the game." Okay, if he plays a good end game and good mid game consistently, yes, now he's starting to be the quarterback that I want. But okay, for example, last week we played the Cowboys and Eagles. Kirk had decent numbers throughout the course of the Eagles game because he didn't move the ball until it was too late, and then he got a touchdown late, and then he got a couple yards late, so it inflated his numbers to be 30 or 40 for about 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay, not to mention the end of the game on an interception, but that's all ignored. He's had 3 games this year where he's had an interception or a fumble on the last play of the game, and it ended up being points basically. Okay. He's had a handful of games this year that has happened. It ended up being points. The Eagles game, the first Eagles game, the second Eagles game, the Dallas game, just giving points right at the end to really inflate the numbers of the game. Okay, they don't bring up the end of the game then. Yesterday, that's all I heard about. Look at those last 2 passes. Okay, those last 2 passes were great. One, the quick, was actually his best. The second one was underthrown, and a better corner would have intercepted that if they had turned and found the ball. Josh Dobson laid out and got it. I don't see anyone giving the receiver credit, considering they wanted to rip the receivers last week for not catching the ball. But this guy lays out, makes an amazing catch. And I actually thought it was a touchdown. Because I thought when he rolled into the end zone and was touched, the ball had broken the plane of the end zone, but I'm not going to get into that. Okay, that's a conversation for something else. I don't know what that was. That's a conversation for later in this video. Okay? So they didn't mention that. They didn't mention the fact he threw the ball short, and all they mentioned is he's so clutch. No, he underthrew the ball. If it was played properly, it would have been intercepted. Okay? But they ignore that. All they look at is the end result and okay, he got the game-winning touchdown. The whole 58 minutes prior to that don't matter. Okay? The whole 58 minutes prior to that don't matter. At 58 minutes, he ended up with 250 yards. Prior to those 2 passes, he was at 170 yards. 177 yards. He didn't really do much. That's what I'm trying to say. He didn't do much till the last series. And if it wasn't for the defense and Blair Walsh missed a lot of kicks, we'd have lost this game. But my main point is this. It's bullshit that you want to have the luxury of pinpointing which part of the game is important and which part of the game you want to brag about. If you're going to brag about the mid-game, like throughout the course of the game, how he has a drive here and there he does well, and his stats are inflated and they look good, and then he does bad at the end, why don't you comment that and like, nope, but he didn't show up at the end. He has to do both. I would respect someone who actually did that. I would respect somebody who actually would say, yeah, he played well throughout the course of the game, but at the end of the game, he was not the guy. He was not the guy. He did not show up. He didn't get the job done, whatever the case may be. I would have a little more respect for someone who did that. But no, it's all ignored. It's all ignored. And all it's pointed out is where he does well. So if he does horrible throughout the entire course of the game, it's the offensive line's fault. The receivers can't catch a football. Bad play calling. That's the 3 excuses I heard this week. In the last 24 hours, that's the 3 excuses I've heard in the last 24 hours about why he had one of the worst games I've ever seen him have as a starting quarterback. Next to like the Panthers game 2 years ago. That game was atrocious, and he was horrible. Actually, both Panthers games he's had in the last 4 years. Actually, no, it was the one last year. The one last year was bad, and the year before that was bad. Okay. So those are the 3 excuses I heard. No one said Kirk played bad. No one's like, okay, yeah, Kirk played horrible. But he showed up when it really counted. And though the rest of that sucked, I'm happy to get the W because he showed up when it really, really, really counted. Okay? But my point is, you need to show up all the time. That's my issue, is you need to show up all the time. You can't wait until you have to have that touchdown to win the game and then decide to show up and play. You can't flip a switch like that. You can't rely on being able to do that. You have to be able to show up all the time. There's times where Kirk, and this happened in this game. It happened in this game specifically. Kirk, our first scoring drive, he hit Vernon Davis, bam, bam, bam down the field. I think he fed him the ball like 4 or 5 times in one possession. And I'm on Twitter just like, feed Vernon Davis till they triple team him. Keep feeding him. Okay? And we got down the field, we got in the end zone. And guess what? We didn't do that ever again until we didn't do it ever again at all, to be honest. Until like the last drive. And the last drive was won by 2 plays. And that's the truth. You watch the game, the last drive was won by 2 throws. Brian Quick turned over the wrong shoulder. It was done over the wrong shoulder, but he turned and he found the ball and caught it and made a great play. And then Josh Dobson on a ball that was underthrown. It was horribly underthrown. Go watch it. A better quarter would have turned and caught that. Okay, I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to take it away from him. He made a great throw. He made the right throw, but it was underthrown. But Josh Dobson made a great play to catch it. He caught it. He made a play. Kirk made a good throw. So I'm not taking that away from him. But it was a bad throw. It could have been bad. It wasn't. Luck has been on our side the last few weeks. So I'm just being honest. It's not me trying to be hateful. It's being honest. He played like hot garbage the first 58 minutes of that game. In the last 2 minutes, well, only like 30 seconds of the last 2 minutes, he made 2 good throws, and everyone wants to act like the first 58 minutes didn't matter. Okay, last week, he actually didn't play horrible, but he actually threw some bad throws early, and then the weather got bad, and it made it really hard for him to throw the football. So if you throw those good throws early rather than late, maybe we're not in the situation where we have to get a touchdown to tie the game, or you don't throw a pick 6 on the last drive of the game or whatever. And they don't bring that up. They'll ignore that and say, oh, look how many yards he had. Or, oh, look at all these drops. Oh, hey, how about look at all the bad throws he had too? Be objective for fuck's sake. Okay? That's all I'm trying to say. Is it's fine that people want to support Kirk. I need some Kirk supporters in my life. Because no matter what I do, they're only going to accentuate the positives and they're going to blame me for the negatives, and it's always someone else's fault. It's actually like the perfect ideology for victimhood. Like, all the good things in your life, you are creating. All the bad things in your life, someone else it's someone else's fault. It's basically the best way to put it. And in this case, Kirk, all the good things that happen on the Redskins offense, it's because of him. He throws the ball 1 yard to Chris Thompson. Chris Thompson runs for 80-yard touchdown. Kirk made a great play. No, Kirk made the right play to throw it to him, but the great play was made by Chris Thompson. Okay? So that's just my issue right now is people are bombarding me saying I'm like very hateful or whatever towards this guy. And I'm like, I don't hate the guy. I see he has drives where he looks like he is the guy that we could have for the next 10 or 15 years. I know he's like 29 or 28 or whatever, but we can have him another 10 years easily if he can throw like that. Like the drive he had when he hit Vernon Davis 4 times and we ended up ending the drive with the Rob Kelly touchdown. If he did that every drive and found guys like that every drive, we would not have an issue. But there's times when he'll do that and then he'll completely go. We never went back to Vernon Davis the rest of the game. That is my point. We didn't throw the Vernon Davis one more time in that game after that possession. That is what bothers me. Now I don't know, and I'll get. And here's the thing: I'll cite like quotes and I'll cite articles, and no one wants to fucking read it. They're too fucking lazy. That's my issue. Like for example, I cited last week that Jay Gruden came out in an interview and said that there are guys open, there are guys wide open. Or not wide open, but open by Jay Gruden standards, they are open. And Kirk won't throw it because they're not open enough for him because he's afraid to throw a turnover. So he'll check down immediately to the safety or whatever the security drop off, whatever you call it. There's a specific name for it. I'm drawing a blank on it right now. He'll check down basically to the this I don't know what it's called. I can't think of what it's called right now. Usually I would edit this, but I'm not in my house where I have a mega computer there where I do all the editing. I'm not gonna have my intro today, but it's not a big deal. So that's my point. Is Kirk Cousins just seems like only thing that's emphasized is the good. He's never called out for the bad by his fans. And I'm telling you, I want some Kirk Cousins fans in my life. If I had a life where every time I did something bad, it was blamed on somebody else, yeah, that'd be great. I don't understand why everyone's so butthurt about me holding him accountable. Okay, I'm just being honest here. I'm talking about the game now. I'm going to talk about the game now. Being honest here. That team, that defense, and last week they had Earl Thomas. They didn't have Earl Thomas against us. Gave up 38 points to a rookie. 38 points to a rookie. They don't have a better offense than us, like overall offense. They don't have a better overall. What it is, they have a better quarterback than us. That's my opinion, but you don't have to agree with me. But Deshaun Watson's played like a better quarterback this year. They don't have they might have a slightly better running game than us. They definitely have a better. I'm not gonna say slightly. They definitely have a better running game than us. They don't have a better offensive line than us. We're top 10 in offensive line when it comes to pass blocking. I don't know about run blocking. I didn't look that up. You're not gonna sit there and Texans definitely have a better defense than us. So you can't blame the fact that our defense didn't play good. The Texans definitely have a better defense than us. At least they should, for the most part. So I'm just curious, why is it a rookie quarterback can put up 38, but Kirk can barely, he queefed out 17 points. He barely got 17 points. He got 17 points, luckily. He barely got 17 points on that defense. On that defense. And he had guys open. I mean, I will give anyone my account information for one-time use, and I'll change the password immediately after login. If someone wants to go watch a game and have every camera angle, so you can gain a little perspective. There are guys open a lot. People claim that wide receivers can't get open, and I'm not commenting any more people who are going to say emotional bullshit. Oh, wide receivers can't get open. Bullshit. They're getting open. They're like the one where Kirk got sacked. There's 3 people open. Go to just YouTube. Redskins vs Seahawks 2017. They have a game breakdown where it has a condensed game where all the big plays in the game are shown. There are 3 people wide open on that. They brought 6 or 7 guys on that blitz. I think it was 7. They brought 7 guys on the blitz. So the only thing people not blitzing are 2 corners and 2 safeties. Okay? So there are people underneath that were wide open. Kirk just didn't get rid of the football. That's on him. Okay? And 4 of the 6 sacks are on him. That one was on him, and he had 3 others that he held the ball from. There's one that's a screen pass, and he held it for too long. Now, that could be the fact that they jumped the route, and, he's going to get sacked on that because there's no out route. There's no out on that when there's a screen. But, I counted. He held the ball for 4 seconds. You're supposed to get rid of the ball within 4 seconds on those plays. And there's a handful of times where he held the ball for more than 4 seconds. Some of them he tried to like run and he got tackled. So there's 2 sacks right there. Okay. One was the sack in the end zone. That he should have got rid of the ball. And another one he held the ball for way too long on a screen. And then 2 sacks legit were sacks. Okay. They were legit sacks that the offensive line can be accredited for giving up because they did not give him time to let the play develop. That I'll concede. 2 of those happened. But for the fact that we've had 3 or 4 guys just randomly signed to our offensive line and we're still not doing bad, I don't have an issue with that. The only thing I'll get to that here in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the game. We won the game 17-14. If Blair Walsh doesn't miss 3 field goals, we'd have come out of this game looking really bad. And again, everyone would have blamed somebody other than Kirk. But Kirk is this is my issue. Kirk is responsible for the offense. Why is it the Redskin fans, we've been complaining about not having a quarterback for the last few years, and as soon as we get one, we all of a sudden want to blame everything else on the team. Maybe everything else on the team was always bad, and just now we've actually started building an actual offense with a quarterback, with decent receivers, so on and so forth. I'm not saying he needs to be blamed for everything. There's definitely some things are not Kirk's fault. It is asinine for anyone, including myself, to say that he is responsible for everything. It is asinine. But as the quarterback, you hold the bulk of the blame whenever the offense doesn't succeed. Whenever the Patriots don't win, and I'm not comparing Tom Brady's skill set to that of Kirk Cousins. But what I will compare is his leadership to say, it's on me. I need to make these throws. I need to do this better. Kirk doesn't really come out and do that. He doesn't do that. He doesn't sit there and say, he doesn't blame anyone either. To be fair, he doesn't come out and blame. That's usually everyone else. That's everyone. Again, I'm not getting on Kirk, but they don't come out and say, yeah, Kirk needs to play a little bit better. That's all I would ask. That when he doesn't play well for huge segments of the game, that he gets called out on it. Like for yesterday, 58 minutes, the first 58 minutes of that game, other than one drive, he played like hot fucking garbage. Hot, shitty fucking garbage. Okay, he was throwing short of the first down. He was going to the check down immediately. Oh my god, like the first drive we actually had, not the fumble, the first drive we actually had. The first drive we had, it's 2nd and 13, and Kirk hikes the ball and immediately looks at the check down. Didn't even look at anywhere else. He just immediately threw the check down. Like seriously. Didn't even look anywhere else. He immediately said hut and turned and just threw the check down. Just do it. Just do it to the running back coming down out of the back of safety valve. That's what I've been trying to think of, the safety valve. Like immediately did. He didn't even look at anyone else. Like, is anyone going to justify that? That's not justified. The only thing I'll give that is if there's a blitz. And I've watched the play 3 or 4 times. There's no blitz. It was a 4-man front, no blitzing. That's why Thompson only got like 3 yards out of it, because they were able to run him down and tackle him. Then the very next play, it's like a 3rd and like 10, and Kirk throws the ball on a 4-yard in route, a 4-yard comeback. That's what gets me. Why don't you throw the ball a little deeper, Kirk? Okay, so I'm actually gonna go over the game. Now I'm not gonna go over. I may credit some things, and I may go over some things personally, but I'm gonna go ahead and credit who's responsible for winning this game. Kirk is responsible. I'm going to give him more than 5% because he did make the game-winning throw. I'm going to give him 15% of the game of the win. Okay? Which means, make sure my math is correct. Just for clarity, I'm going to give him 50% of the win. The reason why he gets 15% of the win is for 2 reasons. One, he did make the game-winning throw. I cannot take that away from him. Okay, he didn't take that away from him. And though he had 1 turnover, okay, and though he should have had more than 1 turnover, he only turned over. Technically, it wasn't really his fault on the fumble. It wasn't really his fault. But the reason why he only gets 15% is because the defense handed you 2 turnovers on the 50-yard line, and you didn't even get a first down. You didn't even get a first down to move the sticks. This is the first game we've won in 2 years that we lost the time of possessions dramatically. We were down like 5 minutes on the time of possession, and we didn't run the ball over 25 times. Those are usually the successes or indicators that we have that dictate success of our team. is if we run the ball for more than 25 times in the game, which we are, in the last 22 games we've done that, we are 19, 2 and 1. We're 19, 2 and 1. In the last 22 games, we've run the ball for more than 22 times, or 25 times. Okay? There's one example, or one exception to this. There is a Kansas City Chiefs game this year where we had more than that. However, and I'm going to clarify this, if you go look up the stats, we do have 28 rushes. However, 5 or 6 of those are Kirk scrambles. They're not design runs. Okay, so it's design called runs that I'm referring to here. Okay, so the defense handed 2 turnovers. If we just got field goals out of those, the way our defense is playing, the game was out of reach. The way our defense is playing, the game was out of reach. Okay, so that's why he only gets 15%. He didn't turn the ball over, even though the fumble was kind of his fault. I don't know which. Here's why it's kind of his fault. Because the way it looked is it's supposed to be a wider handoff, and Kirk sharpened it, one of the other. One of them went too wide, and I don't know whether it was Kirk or him. Okay, I think Perrine was expecting to get the ball further back in the backfield, and that's why he fumbled, because he was closing his hands before Kirk got there, because he was expecting the ball further back. I don't know who was wrong, so I'll give kind of a 0.5 on that. Okay, but again, he threw the 2 game-winning throws that gave us the lead, 17-14. And he didn't turn the ball over other than that 0.5 turnover I just talked about. But he only gets 15 because he really didn't play well. Throughout he had one series he played really well. 2 series. The one series where he fed Vernon Davis every play, we got the ball down the field really quick. And I'm like, I was look at my Twitter. I was like, dude, keep feeding Vernon Davis the ball. They can't guard him. Okay, and I actually saw something really nice, and I'll actually just go to the next part. 5% blame or credit goes to the coach. Now, everyone's blaming the play calling. I think everyone's blaming the play calling, but here's the issue with play calling. Everyone also wants to complain and say the offensive line sucks. The offensive line is bad, then you're going to alter your play calling to make sure the offensive line is not put in a bad situation, right? I mean, that's what logic says. So he's probably calling plays he wouldn't usually call because he doesn't want to put the offensive line in a precarious situation. Okay, he's trying to give them the best chance they have to succeed. And the coach, I actually thought he was doing some really nice things. Here's what he did that made Terrell Pryor actually pretty effective when it came to converting for a 3rd down or 2. Oh, by the way, Kirk was 13 on 3rd down conversions. Anyway, the coach, he put Terrell Pryor in at tight end. In a route combination, where a tight end usually is, if you have a 3-bunch receiver set, he put him in where the tight end goes, and I think that's actually where that's where Pryor can be effective. I think he's good for a possession back, like a 10-yard comeback or something. He could do that. I think that's where he's good because it's not a complicated route. For some reason, he can't do routes a certain way. And everyone gets onto the kid, and I do think he needs to play better, but I don't get onto the kid that much. And here's why I don't get onto him that much. He's spent 20 plus years of his entire life playing the quarterback position. Okay? And he's only spent 1 year and a couple of months playing a receiver. 1.5 years playing receiver. That's not a lot. I mean, I'm not making excuses for the guy. I'm just saying everyone needs to be a little bit more patient with him. Okay? He's an athletic specimen. I think being used in that, he needs to be used like Anquan Bolden is used. I think that would be the perfect type of receiver needs. Possession receiver, big body, run down the field, seal the corner, catch it, maintain it, and then move the sticks. That's where he needs to be used. And I think Jay Gruden actually started to realize that this game because all the catches he had were plays like that. Wasn't nothing downfield. Wasn't him running a crazy route. That's where he was being effective. Hopefully we can get all this stuff figured out because I think he's actually figured out where people like Vernon Davis can't be matched up with a corner or a linebacker. Cannot be. A corner can match up, but they're not big enough to guard him. And a linebacker match up size-wise, but they're not fast enough. So Vernon Davis is being used. I'm honestly done with Jordan Reed. If he comes back healthy, great. If he's not, I don't expect it. I don't anticipate him doing that. I don't care. It's not me trying to be a jerk or anything. I just don't anticipate him coming back. I have no faith in all that Jordan Reed will play any more than half the games left this season. He's a good player, don't get me wrong. He's a great player. He's a great talent. Probably one of the most talented tight ends in the league when it comes to overall ability, catching, route running, so on and so forth. But he gets injured way too much. He's cottonelle tissue, for God's sakes. Okay, he's toilet paper. So the coaching, everyone complained about the scheme, but if you're going to complain about the offensive line, you got to have the scheme adjusted to predicate to the offensive line a little bit, okay? And also, I'm going to say this: the quarterback's job is to execute that offense, and I didn't see Kirk executing. That's why we didn't score at all, hardly any at all in the game. We did score, but we didn't score as much as we should have, especially on a team that's got 38 put on them by a rookie quarterback, for God's sakes. I will give 5% blame or credit to the O-line. The O-line, in my opinion, the O-line has not done horrible the last 2 weeks. I would really love to see. Have a video. I'll make a video if anyone wants to do this. Anyone who lives in Pittsburgh, right now I'm living near Pittsburgh. If you're a Redskin fan near Pittsburgh, come on over. I'll put a game film in. We can watch it together, and I'll show you where the offensive line does well and where there's some things Kirk does that doesn't help the offensive line. For example, last week against Dallas, Kirk scrambled, and he actually had James Crowder open, didn't throw it, and he got himself sacked. They get credited with the sack, and everyone's like, oh, look, they got sacked. The offensive line sucks. There's more to it than that. Kirk had 7 seconds to throw the football. That's like this week. The safety. Kirk had plenty of time to throw the football. He had guys open. You have to get rid of you have to know you're standing in the end zone. You got to get rid of the football. Whether you're throwing it early or whether you're just throwing it to get rid of it, you have to get rid of the football. You have to get rid of the football. That's on him. I'm sorry. Every offensive lineman was blocking. He had a free runner because every offensive lineman was engaged. That's why they beat us. We had 5 linemen down and a running back, and they brought 7. Okay? If you can't add, 5 linemen plus a running back is 6. They brought 7. Okay, Kirk Cousins out of the play, so we're already down on other guys, and we had watch the play. Just go YouTube that video and watch the play. There are like 3 guys wide open. Okay? He didn't hit him. I'm not trying to just pour gasoline on a fire here. I'm just being honest. He's wide. Go watch it and come back and say something. If you don't watch it, if you say something about commenting on it and it's like negative about my comment, I know you didn't watch it and I know you're not going to care, so I'm not going to respond. So, with the O-line, I give 5% credit to because, like I said, if you go watch the game film, which no one does, so that's why I do it. Okay, first off, I love watching my team, but also I like to know what makes my team tick. I want to know what makes them better. Early in the season, realized Kirk can't throw deep balls. As of now, that's so. I think I made the proclamation that I think we need to go to a more West Coast style offense, quick throws, decisive throws, and when we played to that, our running game actually improved dramatically. We've gotten away from that last few games, and our running game has suffered significantly. We at one point we had enough yards in 2 games that we were averaging over 100 yards a game. Even with the last 3 games, only getting like 50 yards a game. Right now we're down to 98 yards per game. It's not very good. But you got to imagine we had some good games where we put up a lot of yards rushing the ball. And after like 3 games in a row of only getting like 20 or 30 or 50 yards, we still were almost averaging 100 yards. So we had some games where that was very successful. So the O-line, in my opinion, is not doing bad. They are missing some starters. I'll give that credit. But the thing is, they're not. It's okay. You want to compare what Russell Wilson was dealing with yesterday to what Kirk was dealing with yesterday. Who was running for their life? Russell Wilson was. Russell Wilson was running for his freaking life the entire game. We were in any other quarterback, we'd have had 10 sacks in that game. I guarantee it. If that had been David Carr, and we were getting the push against David Carr's offensive line that we got against that offensive line, man, we'd have broken a record for the most sacks in the game. I'm serious. We would have had 10 sacks, and we had a handful of sacks last night. We had Russell Wilson running for his life. And that is what a quarterback under pressure looks like. Kirk was nowhere near under pressure the way Russell Wilson was under pressure last night. Okay, the difference is Russell Wilson is extremely athletic, and so he can get out. He's extremely fast. He'll outrun every lineman in the league. Okay, so he can break that. Kirk's not quite as fast. Okay, but that's what being under duress looks like. Kirk had a lot of time to throw. He threw some great. I'm gonna give him credit. He threw some great balls to the guy right in his face. He did. He did do that. Okay. So before that is said, Kirk made some great throws with the guy in his face. Okay, I'm gonna give him that credit. He did some good things. Okay? But it's his inconsistency that bothers me. Okay? Back to the O-line. O-line gets 5%. I think they didn't do bad. I'm not going to say they didn't run the ball well because we abandoned the run after like 12 attempts. Okay. Chris Thompson, I think, ran the ball 4 times for 20 yards. And now he was our leading rusher. So we didn't really attempt it. We gave up on it too quick. 5% goes to receiving core. I thought the receiving core played great. If anyone wants to blame the receiving core for anything yesterday, they didn't do anything wrong. There's one. I saw one drop. One where the ball hit the guy's hands, and he didn't catch it. One. I think it was Grant across the middle. Okay, but the wide receiving core, when the ball was so accurate, they caught it. Okay, the ball was so accurately, they caught it. Okay, even had some miraculous catches. Brian Quick late. And Josh Dobson, that diving play that should have been a touchdown. I thought he rolled into the end zone and the ball crossed the plane when he was touched. But and then the one who gets the most blame, most credit, is the defense. I'm gonna give them 80%, but I remember Kirk. Kirk didn't turn the ball over, and he did make some decent plays, but it's his inconsistency that bothers me. Defense gets 70% of the credit. Oh my God, the defense was outstanding. If our defense can play like that every game, we're gonna give ourselves a chance to win. We just gotta have our offense match the same intensity. Here's what I was saying to someone online, because everyone was like, "Oh, Kirk's this and this." I'm like, okay, and again, I'm not trying to bait anyone into this. At one point in the game, the Redskins were 1 for 9 on their possessions. So we had 9 possessions. We scored 1 time. And we actually gave them 2 points on one of them, but 1 for 9. That is roughly 11%. 11 point something percent of our possessions that we were scoring on. Our defense, up until the fourth quarter, was batting 1,000. They were giving up 0 points. They were succeeding on what their goal is on their drives 1,000% of the time. Now, I understand there were some field goals that were missed. The defense stepped in and saved their offense a handful of times. Turnover on the 50-yard line. What did the defense do? Force a 3-and-out right away. Done. The defense did not let them get in a situation where they had an easy field goal. They were all complicated 40-plus yard, 45-yard field goals. The defense did that. The defense stopped the other team from scoring when our offense could not put the ball. They didn't get first downs for a long time. We only had 4 first downs, we were only 4 of 13. We had more than 4 first downs. Let me rephrase that. We were 4 of 13 on third down conversions. And so, and we still almost lost the game. The reason why is because we let our defense be on the field too long. I still say we need a running back. That's our issue. We're not going to have a running back this season unless we go get Mac Brown back. But I think he signed with another team. That's the issue. That's where we're at right now. Unless we want to run Chris Thompson on sweeps all day, that's the only chance we have. P. Ryan just can't seem to hold on the football. It just seems like bad things happen when we run the football. It just really is what it seems. I get why Jay Gruden stops it. Because when we run the ball, like we lead the league in fumbles this year. I think we have 10 fumbles. That's the most of any team in the league. Okay? And it's not just the offense. Special teams fumbles the ball too throughout the course of the season, but it counts as an offensive play because you have possession of the football. But back to the defense. Defense was all over Russell Wilson all day. All over the receivers. They got 2 interceptions, which the offense did nothing with, but 2 interceptions. Can't really say too much about it. They just did an outstanding job. We get that kind of effort from. We didn't even have all of our starters in. If we had all our starters in, that could have been a much better game. So I really the defense gets the defense alone gets the game ball by far. It's not even close. I don't know how anyone can say anyone else. Every Kirk fan was going to say that because of his last 2 throws he deserves it. No, he doesn't. If Kirk would have put up, let's say Kirk puts up 3 touchdowns in this game, then maybe you have a point. But I would love the offensive intensity to match the defensive intensity. Our defensive intensity seems like it's always on high, even when we're not doing well on defense. It seems like the defensive effort and intensity is always maxed out. I don't always get that from the offense. I get a little bit of passiveness, a little bit of non-intensity. I don't know how to put it. I kind of feel like at times the offense kind of takes on the personality of Kirk. And I don't think Kirk has a bad personality. It's just sometimes Kirk is very, like, lackadaisical. Like, oh, shucks, I'm going to be very conservative here. It's okay if we don't get it this time. We'll get it next time. Where I would like him to be a little bit more of a prick. If one guy gives up a sack, get in the guy's face. Okay, that's what winners do. Okay, that's what winners do. I'm not going to talk about Kirk anymore. Next week we play the Minnesota Vikings. I actually think we can win this game. If our defense plays like this and our offense doesn't screw it up, we have a chance to win every game as long as we can play good defense and our offense doesn't screw it up. We should be able to score points on this team. This is a good defense. This is probably one of the better defenses we're going to play all year. Hopefully we have a couple offensive linemen back so the excuses can be gone. But, again, Bill Callahan is our offensive line coach, and he's the best in the league. I mean, he's gotten these guys protecting Kirk long enough to throw. Last week he threw 39 passes out of 44 dropbacks. This week he threw 31 passes out of 37 dropbacks. So I don't get that. But I really think we have a good chance to win. That's my video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Redskins Ranter. I tweet the entire game. You'll probably get a little bit of preview of what the video will be about if you follow the actual Twitter account. Okay, you also get an update on when I have videos. So without further ado, that's my video. Hail to the Redskins. I'll see you all next week. I don't know if I'm going to be in this venue or not, but we'll see. Hopefully it's in my new house. So, see ya.